Welcome back to the Real Estate Huddle, and we've got a special episode today, number 118, and we're going to be telling the story of some awesome guests of ours, and this is Jesus and Tabitha, who just bought their first home, and we're super excited for you guys. So we're going to hear a little more about your story, and we've got another guest, Nicole Young, who was their lender and got them here and helped them through this process that you guys met at an open house. Is that right?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Just went to go see one near a neighborhood where my parents are and said, oh, cool. And then I walked in and you were at the open house and I started talking to her about a kind of affordability for mobile homes, really, and kind of how that worked. And then she gave me her card and I said, oh, well, we're not really, I don't know if we can afford it. So she said, give me a call. We'll see what we can do. So
That's awesome.
I have been there.
That's great.
What a fate meeting for you guys to be able to just link up at that one spot. And I know we had connected, you'd used our website for some of the searches, and you do win the award for like the most amount of activity for the most amount of saved homes, most amount of active stuff. I remember when I first talked to you, you were like, I'm just shopping, and I'm like, okay, not a problem. And then in between that, you had talked to Nicole, and what was it like when this became a reality of being a homeowner?
Oh, it's just the best feeling ever. Seriously. Like I said, I don't know if it's just our generation. It's just I've been working really hard most of my life, but before I met Jesus, I was a single mom. So saving money, just having to kind of live where you can afford to make sure that you have a roof over your head. So really, just like I said, that's why I did say I was just shopping, because in my mind I was like, I'll never be able to afford anything. And that's why I did a lot of searches as well. I was searching for mobile homes or manufactured homes, so I was like, well, they look like they're cheaper. I mean, so maybe. And then just meeting her, and then Nicole talked to me a little bit about, there is, you can get financing and stuff for mobile homes. It's just a little different than your average, condo or single family home. And I said, okay, well, I don't know. I haven't really saved enough for a down payment. And it just feels really great. It feels like I reached the point, I thought was never going to happen ever.
And now you've arrived.
And now I've arrived. I have my space. I have my home. I can make my rules, and it's just a sense of freedom for me. Yeah,
and to paint a little history, so you were living with your parents, a single mom, and your son is now how old?
He's 20 now.
20 now, so, yeah. and you had been with your parents for 12 years, was it?
Actually, I have lived there before Jesus for about 15 or 16 years. Okay. We've lived with my family. To give context to that, they have one of those really old style homes that has a basically mirror from their top to the basement. So they rented it. Before even I moved in there, it's always been rented. Okay.
Just space they never occupied.
So I started paying rent down there. And that's for about 16 years. Yeah. Yep. Since my son has been very little, we've lived there. Like I said, it was obviously cheaper than living in an apartment, especially with the way apartments have changed. Yeah. So about 16 years, and then year 2 is when Jesus moved down with us. Yep. And we had our relationship, and then we've been there ever since.
Okay. So been there.
We're out. Past tense. So it represents not only like your freedom, right? Because perpetual renting, number one, but also living with family. Like there's 2 layers there, right? So no, and I remember you're like, I'm just shopping. You're just trying to like, is this affordable? But once you kind of had your sights set on something, and working with Nicole, you were able to like bring those 2 things together. So, so why don't you tell us about like your interaction with Nicole? You met her at an open house, and like how going through that process was like for getting all your paperwork together and getting it pre-approved for a loan.
Nicole made it really easy, actually. Like I said, something that I thought was just going to be a tremendous task in general. I knew where my credit was. I knew where my money was, that I didn't have as much as, you hear people with this big down payment. And she made it real easy. She was just like, here's what we can do. Here's the process. I filled out the application, and then you did really great. You were just like, if you find anything you liked, give it to me. I'll tell you the numbers. We did tell her what we were looking to spend monthly. because we couldn't go over a certain amount monthly, just because that becomes unrealistic for me. And just, super easy. I enjoyed working with Nicole. Every time I sent her an email, like, hey, we looked at this property. What do you think the monthly is going to be? Here's the HOA, here's all this. And she was just like, oh, here you go. Just get it back right away.
Really responsive. And
It's awesome.
Super responsive, yeah.
great.
Math guru.
Yeah. That's great.
Was my best subject. So.
Well, Nicole,
too.
you work with a lot of people that maybe don't take action, right? And like get their approval or application in and stuff like that. What do these guys do different to be able to get to the finish line, that other buyers don't do?
Well, and I think it was just even the initial meet that we had. She was like, I want to buy a house one of these days. Like, I don't think I can do anything now. I know with credit and where everything's at, I'm just not quite sure if I'd even qualify. And so that's where it was just, you know what, you don't know until you try.
Yeah.
And it's just finding the right person and finding, having somebody that has the knowledge and everything to really discuss. I mean, I told her we might as well. If anything, what we do is, let's say you don't qualify at this time. Let's figure out how to set you up so that you do qualify within 6 months to a year, whatever it may be. Yeah. So it's really just taking the time, and I always recommend that to first-time home buyers especially, is even if you're not looking to purchase for another year or two, like let's take a look now, because so many times they have no clue what all is entailed with it, or maybe they have their down payment, but then forget there's closing costs, and then it's the knowledge of, do you have a realtor that you can work with that's going to help explain concessions? There's just so many moving parts, and I think I like to over-explain.
Yeah.
I like to provide a lot of information, because when I purchased my first home, I kind of had some surprises at the end that were very unpleasant. And so being able to really inform them at the beginning, I think
that's great.
is
And
important.
you have the heart of a teacher, and that shows with being able to take someone who didn't even think it was a possibility to paint that picture. And to your point, getting pre-approved even a year out, like if there are things with the credit that, I forgot when I was 18, I charged a whole bunch of money on my Express card and then never paid it off, and that's on my credit report. You have time to remedy and heal from that. So there's a lot to say about being prepared and working that road through. So,
Well, and that's cool that like the mindset, right? Like you had a lot of doubts and a little bit of hope when you first started, right? And then you got educated and like really understood how it all works. And with that information, then all of a sudden that began to shift, right? Your hope went up, your doubts went down. Still had doubts, right? But I think as debt piles on in your life, over time, you start to think like, man, I'll never get through this. And that's just something other people do, like, but I'm not going to be a homeowner, sort of a thing. And like you were able to get the information that you needed and then take action steps towards like that goal, and you were ended up being successful with it, which is a really cool story. Like I think a lot of people are lacking in that department.
I want to thank the people who I consider teachers. You guys right here.
Yeah.
Like if she never met Tabitha, we would still be over there. And if Rock didn't tell us about how equity can affect your life and all these other things that I never even thought about, because we first started looking at condos and apartments and mobile homes too.
We were looking at mobile homes.
Yeah.
Because I thought, okay, they're cheaper. You look at it, it's like, pay $80,000 for the mobile home. And I was like, that's got enough room for what we need, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And some of them are huge. But the land rent, which is what came back into my mind. I looked at those and I was like, oh, that's right, there's land rent.
Yeah.
And then when we talked to Brock, that is through teaching moments from both of you guys, it's just like, well, there's not really any equity in that.
Yeah.
You don't own the land.
It's more of a vehicle. It depreciates instead of appreciates.
Depreciating. And,
I did not like that word.
That's when Jesus changed the depreciation word came up, and he was like, whoa, wait, what?
It's a good segue.
Yeah, exactly. Appreciation and equity are like your two favorite things in homeownership. And you guys have an amazing story of equity, but that's going to be a teaser for later. We'll get to that. So, but no, you were very receptive to it. I remember sitting at the island in one of the houses that we were looking at with your mom and kind of walking through, and she was, well, we bought our home for this amount way back here, and now it's worth this much. And she's like, I think it's silly that someone would pay that much for this home right now. But then that's when that appreciation like really just settled in for you. And I could tell like that shifted a little bit. And then also Nicole with the lending, and I kind of just helped forecast like what does that mean for you guys, like. So that was a real fun experience to be able to teach you guys through that. And ultimately, it's your decision. We're going to support whatever you want. But I remember like we were doing that, and there was like a freeway entrance ramp right behind us.
Oh,
And it was
yes,
like,
I remember that.
I had to like wait for the cars to come by, and I'm okay, all right. So that's one option. And ultimately, I think where you guys landed just couldn't be a better fit. But again, we'll get to that part. So I do remember we went out and we looked at some condos, we looked at some townhomes, a few different things just to kind of get you guys, get your feet wet, if you will, right? Convert from the online pictures that can be edited to the reality of what it is. And then we were in a townhouse complex that was fairly close to your work. That was the location was really nice, had a nice stream and stuff going in the background. There was 3 units for sale, and it was really convenient because we went through all 3 units in one stop, right? It was right there. And there was one of them that, appealed to you guys, and we tried to negotiate a good deal for you. And the sellers were just unreceptive to doing that. And I'm happy to say, or sad to say, but since they were unwilling to deal, there's a reason why they have removed all 3 of those from the listing. None of those properties actually sold. So the market dictated to them, and they just got so disappointed they lost all hope and have moved on since then. So maybe they'll try again later, but it works out for a reason. So that was kind of one of those. And but then we landed on a property, and to give you a perspective, it was on the market for 223 days. So in the Denver market for an attached unit, yeah. So in the Denver market, if you go past 60 days, you're really like it's a stigmatized property. You kind of have like, oh, what's going on here? It happened to be a corporate entity that owned the property. So right, we were dealing with a business instead of an actual seller of the house, which presented its own challenges. But we kind of worked through that, and we went and looked at the property, and it was like, hey, this is a good fit. Like, okay, everything kind of lined up. Nicole did the budget with you guys and walked through that, and then we went through and we're like, okay, well, this is what it's worth. It's been on the market for a long time. Let's see what we can do. And we put in an offer and worked through the negotiations on that, and worked out really well for you guys. So we were able to get it under the list price after they've done, they've got 15 different price drops over the days here in the 223 days, right? Yeah. So, and if we undercut even below that on top of it. So then we got to the next part of the process, which was inspection. And obviously for people who haven't owned a home before, that can be kind of daunting. So what was it like getting the inspection report that was 88 pages long?
So, in a little bit of background here, this property that we bought at this point, and that we did buy, it was something I loved. So, I fought hard for it, regardless of any of the issues that it seemed to have. For me, the process wasn't that bad. For most of the stuff, I kind of, after Brock, again, knowledge and telling us, you're going to get a lot of pages of problems. Even newly built homes have problems. Don't take it too much at a time. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so the little stuff I kind of gave up on that. And I was like, it's fine, I get it. Something we can work on. It's a little bit of a big document to look at. But I think the only problem we had was that big problem. And then that's when my heart kind of sank, because I had fought so hard for this property. And then that showed up, which was the furnace. It's just the furnace was 20 plus years old, is what we were told, and that it wasn't even turning on. Yeah.
During inspection, I want to say it was 26 years old or something like that. And average lifespan is 20, right? So the furnace didn't actually come on. And coming into the winter season in Colorado, it's kind of a requirement to have a furnace, right? So obviously major sticking point, and then working with a corporate entity, they're like, oh, we're just going to send a tech out to fix it. And I'm like, I don't think, let me clarify here. You're not going to get parts for a 26-year-old furnace and make it functional. Like, that's just putting a Band-Aid on something that needs stitches. So I appreciate you trusting me. We put a really firm line down with this corporate entity, and they were like, okay. So they had sent a tech out just to evaluate, and they're like, yeah, the technician agreed with us. And I was like, okay. we're going to get a new furnace.
Replace it, yes.
And I'm like, okay, that's a wonderful win for you guys, right? So you can move in and like there's 20 years where you don't have to worry about it. So
That's awesome.
That made
was
me
awesome.
super happy. Just the moment we got it made my heart sink a little. Because then, yeah, like I said, then after that we did fight for it. This guy over here did say, okay, well, the furnace doesn't work. If they don't want to replace it, we're done. So Jesus was like, I'm done. And I was like, but I love this place. Like, there's got to be a way. And he's just like, I said, we're going to get him to replace the furnace. It's going to be fine. But my heart sank a little bit because, yeah, we've been looking and I just fell in love with this place. So, but yeah, when they came back after Brock had talked to him and was like, yeah, we'll replace it. And I was like, great. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Like now we're back on the process and we're like, we're back on. Let's do this. Replace it and we'll go.
That's awesome.
Did you want to say something?
So, if I remember right, didn't they do something with the water heater too? Because they didn't fit to the new furnace or something, so they had to readjust something to it too. So we thought that was something else they did there.
yeah, I think there was
So-
a temperature setting for the electric
Yeah.
one that we had to mess with as well. But
They did a lot of fixing stuff down there for
Which is
us.
great for us.
Yeah.
The main point I was making was that.
So it was listed with a garage, right? And
Well, it
then-
was listed with a garage, I believe, right? We saw it on there. Then I believe Brock started talking to them about getting keys for it. That's when they started freaking out, saying, "Well, we really can't figure it out." And then I think you have
well,
the rest
there,
of the memory
there was some ambiguity whether it had a garage or not. But the MLS was like empty. Like it had not like they didn't even say fridge, and I'm like, there's a fridge here. They didn't like none of the appliances were listed right, and I'm like, you could tell that these people had never been in the home. So I looked up the properties, and there's a row of garages, and I'm like, well, okay, let's put it in with a garage so we can say it's a detached garage just to make sure it's covered. And turns out it wasn't there. So apparently somebody deeded that garage to somebody else. So they sold it. So
which they're individually owned, right? So they can do that sometimes if it's deeded into the deal. And so since that was already sold, that created a dilemma, right? And sometimes like if you work with an agent that like doesn't have your back, sometimes they'll just say like, hey, the mistakes happen sometimes, and sorry.
oops, sorry. But
No, Brock was great with that. Yeah, he was just like, hey, he took, for the, like you said, they didn't even have the fridge or anything. This like we took pictures of like, yeah, we want what's here.
Yeah.
Because this is what we're expecting here. And then he's like, oh, garage. And then so then he did ask. He's like, okay, we need either 1 or 2 keys, whatever you guys have available for the keys for the garage to open them, the fobs or whatever. And they were just like, okay, well, we don't have them. We'll have to get them. And then they came back and they're like, well, okay, no, we don't have them. Are they in the property? Like, and it's like, no, there's nothing here. And it's just, then it led to, okay, well, actually, no, it's not deeded to here. So we don't have that garage. And it helped us save as well, just because
we were
you
able
had
to
our back,
negotiate.
because it was supposed to have a garage and now it doesn't.
Get more off the price.
Yeah, we got a little more off the price. So
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Because the original
portion of
offer
it.
was
So
283. Is that right?
Original.
Yeah.
Yes.
283
So-
minus 8. Yeah.
Original.
And then
Right. Saved that much on it, yeah.
that's what brought it
That's right.
down to
Okay.
that 273
To the
mark.
273.
Yeah.
That was that. They said, oh, okay, well, yeah, okay, we'll take some off since there's no garage.
Yeah. Which makes sense
And we
because
were
an
like, "Ah."
appraiser usually uses about a $10,000 adjustment for garage or not a garage, so that
Right.
makes a lot of sense, and that's great. You're able to save 10,000 more that maybe you wouldn't have saved, right? If we wouldn't have just inserted a garage on the contract just to be safe. So
Right.
That's awesome.
Like I
So-
said, they both had our backs. So yeah, no, Brock had our back on that, and I had it with everything else. But yeah, no, that helped us save a little bit. And yeah, okay, we don't have a garage, but at the same time, we still have a parking spot that's so close to our townhome, and
Yeah.
we still have storage space and saved us money. So I'm
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
all about the money. He'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
But,
And your payment's probably what, 60, 70 bucks less with 10,000 difference in borrowed.
Good about that.
So that helps a lot, in
Oh,
the
yeah.
long run.
helps us a lot.
Yeah.
All those pennies add up.
Yep. That's great. Well, good deal.
All right. So now the next part was the appraisal process. So, so the lender wants to validate that they are borrowing money or lending money against an asset that is indeed worth that amount of money. So you get a third party that comes out and evaluates the cost or the value of that property. Now, this is where I love to share this story for everything. So, kind of back up. So we put an offer down at $273 for a condo or a townhome here with $8,000 in concessions. So that was a net $265,000 offer. So So went through that, got that agreed upon, got the inspection stuff taken care of, and then we have an appraisal that came back at $314,000. So you took your down payment.
That's not bad.
And so I love to say you just took your down payment and 5x'd it
Yep.
by just buying the property, by
Awesome.
being willing to be diligent, be patient with it. Obviously, inspection stuff was a little bit of an issue, and working with Nicole, being able to okay, what does that mean? So to take your down payment and 5x it and have that kind of equity built up in a property just from the purchase.
Yeah.
So that
Instant equity.
yeah,
Yep.
we got our
that word now.
yeah. So, Nicole, I don't know about you, but if the appraisal comes back at purchase price, generally, we're
Yes.
good. Like they cleared the hurdle, right? So, for the fact that they came back at even higher than the purchase price, so I know
Doesn't happen very often. It's pretty rare.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I'm super glad it did.
Especially
yeah.
that high of a spread. That's
Right.
that's
When
awesome.
we saw that appraisal come back, I was like, oh, nice.
Usually underwriters aren't overachievers, so they just appraisers. I mean, they just want to get it done so that the underwriter approves it, and they don't have to
Yeah.
explain and do more work to say why it's worth more than it actually is priced for. So it's pretty awesome. But that seller priced at $331 initially, and so if they would have priced it in the low threes, like $315, it might have sold quickly. But since they priced it too high and then they were chasing the market, it got all the way down to what you guys got it for.
Yeah.
So
and that's the key on the sell side, right? Is to make sure you have your data and your research, so you price it accordingly. So 223 days on market, they priced it too high and they chased the market the whole time,
Yeah.
which really worked out to your benefit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And which was awesome for you guys, but this is kind of a note for all the sellers, like, hey, this is what happens if you think you can get more than what the market is telling you. So be sensitive to that, right? So with all of that, then we did have some excitement there. We had some job transitions for Jesus, which is Jesus on the application or not on the application?
Yeah,
So,
that was a pain.
so Nicole came through and had to go re-go through underwriting and in a really short period of time. So Nicole, I commend you for having the diligence
thank
to
you.
push that through
Thank you.
and to make that work. I think from where we wanted to be to where our closing date, we ended up, we closed on a Saturday, right? We signed papers on a Saturday to
Yeah.
close on a Monday.
On a Monday.
So it was a very, very interesting transaction. Not normally, what happens, but we got it covered. Nicole, thank you for coming through on that. So, and then we had, one other thing before closing, when we did a final walkthrough. So with this corporate entity, they gave me an estimate for the furnace replacement and some other things. I'm like, do you actually have an invoice? I just really need an invoice that you paid to make sure it happened. And that was just 3 days of just beating pushing a rope, right? It just isn't going to happen. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go to the property and look. If I can see that the furnace is new, check the box, right? My favorite part was the furnace was new and the air conditioner, the central air was new as well. So you got a whole HVAC system. And the funny thing is that air conditioner was only 7 years old. So it wasn't it was still functioning, it was still operating, but because this HVAC company that came in and did that estimate, they're like, yeah, we need to replace the whole system. And the corporate entity just agreed to it and approved the invoice, and so it worked out for you. So now you got a whole new HVAC, you've got heating and cooling, all brand new, taken care of.
that's awesome.
So
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, it's like we rolled. If anybody plays D&D, it's like we rolled a 20 on this house. 100%. Yeah, I love it.
So that's great.
Yeah, that was exciting. It was exciting, like I said, that we got it where we did, and then it came back appraisal much higher than we got it for. And then Brock called and said, oh, so they did replace the furnace. And I was like, okay, good. That's what we needed. And he was like, and they also just replaced the air conditioning, so it's all the new HVAC. And I was like, oh my God.
That's pretty awesome. That's great.
So
That's $12 to $13 worth of supplies, with the heating and cooling system. That's huge.
Yeah,
So,
and we need it. We need it because we're three of us live there, and my son gets too hot, I get too hot, he gets too cold. Everybody has to have temperature. We have birds, so they have to have a certain temperature too.
oh,
So,
nice. That's cool.
So yeah, it worked out great. I'm so excited to have that in the house. Like I said, brand new. Like you said, I have 20 years now on my heating system. When first that was my big heart sink.
Yeah.
That doesn't even turn on. No, what?
That's awesome. And if you have money to spend on your home, if you're going to spend it on a furnace and an AC, that's not as fun. And you're only going to get 15% back on that instead of you have money to spend on flooring or paint, you could get 300% back on those. You know, those are huge return on investment type items that are fun. They're emotional, you know, as far as what buyers love to see in homes if you resell it down the road. So there's just some way better returns that you can have on other things. So we want your money to go to that, not on furnaces and ACs.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So what a
Good
win
deal.
to be able to get all of that. So
amazing.
It was kind of like fate. I mean, you ran into Nicole at an open house, and this property went. You know, we had some roller coaster events in there, but it worked out. So and now you were able to get in before Thanksgiving. You got to host Thanksgiving dinner. You got to decorate for Christmas. So in your own place, and tell me what that's like.
I know for me it's a big thing. My parents have always done the holidays, and we lived with them for so long. But just to be able to be like, hey, come to my house, like we'll have. I was telling Nicole this too, just before we got in here, is that since I've never hosted it, I got a little bit of stress around it. But because I promised so much, because I was so excited.
Yeah.
So I have never cooked a turkey. We cooked turkey for Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Cooked a whole turkey. It turned out great.
That's
just
cool.
so everybody knows.
Yeah.
Then I was like, we'll do ham for Christmas. And my parents came over. We did not do ham because my mom wanted to do charcuterie. She brought way too much. We were too full. But then I was like,
That's great.
we'll do New Year's. Come over for New Year's. That way we bought the ham. We'll do the honey glazed ham. It'll be fine.
Oh,
So
that's
then
awesome.
I had a little bit of nerves on that one too. I was just sitting there like, why did I promise so much trying to glaze this ham? But that turned out good. We had them over for New Year's.
That's so cool.
It's just a different feeling when you can invite people to your house. Because of course we could have had people down in our apartment that we rent from my parents, right? That we rented, but it's just not the same. It's my parents' house.
Yeah.
We just
Totally.
rent down here. But just being like, yeah, come to our house. Or even now when my mom calls and she's like, well, we want to get together and play card games and stuff. I'm like, yeah, cool. Come on over to our house. Like, it's just a good feeling.
That's so cool.
And to know that it's yours.
Yeah.
And just to have everybody over.
Yep.
And to see the spirit and the joy. And because my family's a big Christmas family. As Brock will tell you, with my mom, she was jealous of our townhome because we have shelves and all this high ceilings to do garland.
And the fireplace.
And the fireplace. So she's never had a fireplace so that we
Nice.
could have our stockings.
Yeah.
So she came over. She was just like, okay. She's like, this is the perfect Christmas setup. But I don't have this.
That's too
But
cool.
it was just so good to have them over.
That's
to our
awesome.
place. I don't know what was your feeling.
Well, mine is a little bit different, being the man, right? When I was living over with them, I'm in another man's castle. I have to follow his rules and so on and so forth. Nobody's telling me a damn thing except for my queen. And that alone, and it's just, I can't compare that freedom to anything else. Maybe when you're flying around, if you ever get that feeling,
Well, you
Yeah.
actually got in the Christmas spirit, though, which he's not
Oh,
a Christmas person. And we were talking about this because all of our neighbors had wreaths on their doors. We don't have a wreath because, again, I've never had a door to put it on. So I was like, it's fine. So he came in and goes, we need a wreath. We need a wreath. And I was like, what for? And he's like, all our neighbors have wreaths. And I was like, okay.
I never felt that before. I did not care. And then I got jealous walking back when I was taking out the trash. And I saw the neighbors' stuff all nice and Christmassy there. And as I'm walking towards this, nothing on ours. And I went to grab the wreath that your mom had made. And that was the plan A. I'm just going to put this there. Fine. But
awesome.
she did not like that.
Obviously, I interjected on that one. It's just, this is an indoor wreath. It does not go outside. It's too big for the door.
Yeah.
Why do we need a wreath? Because everybody else does. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, we'll go on Amazon.
There you go.
I love it. I love how you're like, I'm going to get in my house. I'm going to set the rules. I got my own rules. And Jesus is good with the rules.
Yep.
You like the
Yep.
new rules.
Yep.
It's good. That's awesome. That's so cool to hear, you're already, creating all these memories. And, the fall is such an emotional time to buy a house, too, because you got all the holidays and stuff, which is so awesome. And hosting for the first time, having your family over and having it be your place, that's really special. It's awesome to hear that. And we've moved our family twice during the fall too, so I can relate. In November twice, so it's such a cool time to move, I think, and have a new home.
I guess a lot of people don't do it in the winter and stuff or the fall. They like to do it in the summer. I didn't have any problems. I guess I thought, oh, maybe it's just because it's winter and it's cold. I don't know. Like I said, that's the only issue I had with the furnace not working. I was like, it's cold. It's Colorado. It's cold. We need a furnace. I actually enjoyed moving in the winter. Just like I said, now I also will learn what my Excel bills will look like in the winter.
True.
So, I was like, it was fine. I said, we had movers and stuff. It's kind of been a warm Colorado winter.
Yeah, it's been a late one.
It did not snow the whole time we were gone, or we're moving. So, it is really kind of a fun thing. Like I said, I got to decorate, which is great for me.
Yeah.
Like my family's big decorators. Although I will say I'm a little opposite. I did, as soon as Christmas was over, I think 2 days after Christmas, I was like, okay, all was down because I got to make my house normal. Like because we just moved in. And I was like, I got to make it look like what it needs to look like.
You haven't had normal.
It was just Christmas house, like because there's all the Christmas stuff is out. Now we actually get to see it how it would.
I suppose you had the Christmas veil up for so long that you never got to notice it otherwise.
Exactly.
So that's cool.
Yeah, and so now we have all that down, and we just we put stuff where it's going to be until next Christmas, and then it just normalized the house for me. But it was just a wonderful feeling.
That's
to be
awesome.
with my family
That's
in
really
my
cool.
house.
We're happy for you guys. That's awesome.
No,
Such a cool story.
Appreciate you guys coming to share your story and kind of walk through that. And you guys are a really good testament to like those first time home buyers. I work a lot with first time home buyers just because I really love teaching that, because I made a big mistake when I bought a home the first time around. I listened to broke people and lost a lot of money. So I try and teach that, and also just the systems of the home. Like, what does this mean? And hey, is this really important? You had a large inspection report. Let's walk through those details. What does this mean? And carpet and paint and flooring, we'll leave it to people who aren't colorblind to go through that portion of it. So that's where we keep landing around. So, but no, it's really fun to see you guys, and then just the pride that you guys have for it. So, and now that you got a wreath, you're good. So you
good for next year.
So I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you trusting me with that process and be able to walk you through that. And Nicole, again, thank you for being able to participate and help with them. I'm glad you met them at an open house, and
yeah, we are.
Yeah,
just make sure if anyone wants to work with Nicole, please look down below. We'll have her contact information down here, so you can reach out to Nicole Young at Keystone Mortgage Solutions, and we can have another podcast later.
She's amazing. You want to work with her?
There you go.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, and hopefully like everyone listening has enjoyed hearing this awesome story. And if you're in this boat, right, where you've been feeling like this is never going to happen for me, like I'm never going to be a homeowner because of whether it be debt or whether it be like just moving around so much or just not believing that it's possible. There's education that can happen for you to get there. And, you can talk to us, talk to Nicole. We'll help you, through the process and make sure that you know how it's possible, like how you could do it. If you can't do it now, then how you could do it in 12 months. Like Nicole said, I love that. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.